It's
You
live.
are live. All right, we are back. This is the Safety and the Sportswriter with Knoxville Nate and Big Joe. Getting ready to talk to you about the world of sports, specifically the NFL tonight. A big NFL game, at least for me, with the Giants facing the Washington football team after we go off the air here. Big first week, a lot of big results, some surprises, some expected. Overall, Nate, what was your feelings on the first week of the NFL season? I know it's always great to have it back.
Yeah, it was awesome. I enjoyed getting to see some NFL action. I also enjoyed being correct on all my picks. I picked Jameis to tear it up, and I don't know if you saw, but he threw 5 touchdowns and led the Saints to a victory against the defending NFC champion Green Bay Packers and the reigning NFL MVP, who had his worst game as a pro. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I enjoyed it. I don't know if you remember, but we could play back the clip of you saying that you thought he was going to throw picks and lose.
Well, I've been known to be wrong before, but like I said, he can still go 1-16.
That's true. But I will take that bet, man. He if you go back and watch the game, he only threw the ball 20 times. And that's what I talked about when I talked about him being set up for success. Coach Payton isn't going to just throw this guy to the wolves. He isn't going to have him throw it, 50 times a game and see how many interceptions he can get. He's going to have him run the offense. He's going to have him throw short passes, get set up, and then hand the ball off a few times and get the thing rolling. And the best part about him being the quarterback of the Saints is they actually have a defense that plays pretty well, and that was evident on Sunday as they played a home game in Jacksonville and won. So I enjoyed watching that. Also enjoyed the no doubt picks of the week being coming up right as I picked the Seahawks to win, and they handled Carson and the Colts, as I call them these days. And then also I picked your boy Matt Stafford to win. And he looked pretty good. I don't know. I couldn't really understand him winning the player of the week. It was like people wanted him to do so well.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna name him player of the week no matter what he does.
I think he's getting a lot of the benefit for his Detroit days that a lot of the sports writers are going to give him extra credit for being on a winning team. So
he had a good game.
I'm sure. No, I'm just saying. A lot of guys. He came off. He conducted himself well up in Detroit.
Yeah,
and
I like the guy, and I wish him the best. But I feel like Jalen Hurts played better than he did. I feel like Kyler Murray had a better day than he did. If you're talking about
James Winston had the best game.
I'm not sure that's who I'd choose.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up when we were talking about the Packers and the Saints is Aaron Rodgers auditioning for Deadliest Catch with the new look he's got on the sideline? I mean, he looks like he should be shipping off to get the crabs. Because it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, he doesn't really have the surfer look going anymore because he's like grayer than I am, and I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but the look, the attitude, the play, it doesn't really look like Aaron Rodgers that we've been accustomed to. But that was a bad first outing, that's for sure.
There's no two ways about it. The guy's going to Canton, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, there are going to be a lot of detractors over it. And if he doesn't win another Super Bowl, there's going to be a lot of detractors on his career when they pick it apart and say, yeah, he won early, but then he had many chances and didn't do anything with it. And also his attitude, RELAX and beyond, has not exactly endeared him to sports writers and fans across the country. So we'll see. I mean, I thought he did a lot for himself with that golf game this summer. Yeah. But he hasn't expanded on it. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to get into the personality. So let's go on with it. Let's go back to the first game of last week. Cowboys, Tampa Bay. Great game to get started on. I do have some things I want to bring up to you about that game. But you couldn't ask for more drama. The ending, Dak going down to take the lead, then Brady coming back and winning it on the field goal. I mean, if Goodell, he couldn't have scripted a better out-of-the-box game than that. First of all, your views on the game, and I'll give you a couple of things that bothered me a little bit about it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a tremendous game. I was honestly, I know they lost, but I was more impressed with the way that the Cowboys played, than I was Tampa. I mean, Tampa's expected to be the best team. They won the Super Bowl, so no one was really expecting them to flop. But I wasn't 100% sure what we were going to get out of the Cowboys. So very, very excited to see them. I think the NFL's Cowboys are good. I know you hate them, but it's just they're on TV every damn weekend. So if they suck, a lot of people get to watch a terrible team. So anyway, I thought they played really well, and I thought that Dak played amazing considering the injury that he had in the offseason that he had with the shoulder and everything. So I was very impressed with that. I knew that they had to score a touchdown there at the end. I mean, if Mike McCarthy really believed that he was going to kick a field goal and then win, then he's an idiot, because everyone knew that if he gave them any amount of time, that the Buccaneers were going to go down and score, and they did. And despite the offensive pass interference, which was very evident, I mean that was like that's like what offensive pass interference is. You push the guy down, you go back and catch the ball. I mean, whatever.
The worst thing is that you can't put that in the hands of the referees there. Then you're not going to get that call against Brady.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, if it's anybody else, I think you do get it. So I knew they weren't going to call it against Brady. They never do. If they were, he'd tear him up. So, but I have to give the Buccaneers a lot of credit in the sense the way that they handled the end of the game. They didn't get rattled at all. And if you noticed when there was that penalty, and they could have done the 10-second runoff and call the timeout, you notice that, he immediately said, call the timeout and save that time. And that helped them go down and kick the field goal for the win.
Yeah, and I was happy with the game. Overall impressed, love it. But there was a couple of things, and it's Mike McCarthy specifically that bothered me. First of all, you have a quarterback who supposedly couldn't throw all through training camp, and you have him throwing the ball almost 60 times in the first game out.
Yeah.
Set the record. I don't know if we're going to have collateral damage coming down the line if he does have any kind of real problem with that shoulder. I mean, 60 times is asking a lot from a guy who didn't throw all throughout training camp. Number two is you got Ezekiel Elliott, and I understand you're playing against one of the best defenses right now in the NFL, and you're not going to get a lot of yards against them. But the fact of the matter is the more you had Dak going back on that surgically fixed ankle, the more chances of him getting hit. So why not? He only ran the ball. They only ran the ball with Zeke 10 times. I mean, at least give him 20 carries. They reduced him to the most expensive blocking back in the NFL. And then it didn't hurt them. But at the end of the first half, you got a field goal kicker with a bad back, and you're going to ask him to kick a 60-yard field goal and leave time on the clock when he misses for Brady. And they're lucky that Brady didn't come down and score on that thing. I mean, you're a football player. You're a former football player. Not that you were a kicker. But a kicker with a bad back ain't going to be able to kick a long field goal, especially on grass.
Well, why did they have a kicker with a bad back playing in this game anyway? I mean,
Good question.
That was my question the whole time. I mean, he missed a couple of field goals.
And an extra point.
Yeah, and an extra point, which any of them could have helped them win the game. So my question to the coaching staff would have been, you don't have another guy? Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess they
somebody up at Jim Keep you bring in. There's some field goal kicker that just got cut.
Right. Someone that can come in and kick a damn 40-yarder and put it through the uprights. So I agree with you. I think Coach McCarthy gets a lot of credit for the Super Bowl he won, but he also gets a lot of leeway for some of the decisions that he makes that are questionable at best.
Right. All right. Let's swing over to Sunday. This was a shocker for me right out of the boat, which was the Cardinals Titans. Not that the Cardinals won so much, but to win by 25 points on the road in Tennessee. I didn't get to see that game. I was watching the Jets game at the time. What did you see?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and what I saw was complete and utter domination. The Cardinals came out ready to play. They looked inspired. I was kind of, if you go back to our NFL preview show, I was a little concerned about the Cardinals running game, the Cardinals offensive line.
Right.
And
you didn't want Murray to be their whole game.
Yeah. And I got to be honest, their offensive line looked great. And Chase Edmonds showed a little burst, and James Conner looked like a different guy. I think he lost some weight. He looked faster. He didn't have the most amazing game ever, but he came out and did his job. And so it was the complete opposite of what I thought would happen. The Titans' offensive line was horrible. The first half, Derrick Henry had 9 carries for 7 yards. And Ryan Tannehill got sacked. I can't even remember how many times now. I know that the one guy, Chandler Jones, had 5 sacks himself. And I know they at least had one other. I think they had 6 sacks total. So they couldn't pass protect and they couldn't run block. And if you can't do that in the NFL, you're not going to win. And it was a long day for Ryan Tannehill. He was holding on to the ball too long, but honestly, he didn't have much time. Their offensive line looked like garbage.
All right. What do you think about Tennessee right now? What you see it's only the first week, but were they trying to feed it to Henry and Henry just couldn't find it? What's going on?
Well, in the second half, there was a couple of holes. And so he actually had some success running the football in the second half. So, if you give the guy any hole at all, he's going to be fine. So, I think Derrick Henry's definitely not the problem. It just surprised me how bad their offensive line was. I think he finished with like 17 carries for 58 yards. So, he had some yardage in the second half, but they were down by so much that they had to throw it. So there was turnovers. The one play where Tannehill just fumbled the ball backwards was ridiculous. He had a pretty bad interception as well. So just turnovers, horrible offensive line play. And then, the defense, that was supposed to be so much improved didn't look that much better either. So I think there is cause for concern in Tennessee. I don't think you need to, tear your jersey up just yet. But I think watching that first game, I would be concerned if I was the coach. And if you heard his post-game press conference, he was not real happy.
All right, then we'll go over to Jacksonville, the Texans. Surprising for the Texans. Nice. It was a nice game for Tyrod Taylor to get a win. Of course, one loss, and all of a sudden the rumors start flying about Urban Meyer leaving after this year. Didn't take more than one 4-point loss for that to happen. Trevor Lawrence played a rookie game. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Yeah. The one thing that came to mind with me today, and I'll run it past you, even though he was inactive for the Eagles, maybe they should have kept Gardner Minshew till the trading deadline. Maybe he could have been a guy to work the first week, second week, get a couple of wins, get Trevor Lawrence into the game late, whatever you want to do, maybe break him in, give him a little safety net. Do you think they maybe should have kept Gardner Minshew for a couple of weeks at least?
Yeah, I think so. I was actually very surprised at the move to get rid of Minshew. I didn't really understand it at the time. I thought keeping him on board would be a good move for the team and for Trevor Lawrence. So, what if Trevor goes down with injury? What if Trevor has questions? I think keeping Minshew around would have been a good idea. And, I'm not concerned about Trevor Lawrence. As you said, it was a rookie game. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 3 interceptions. So he's going to get better. but I was a little bit surprised at how well the Texans played. I wasn't expecting that. And, stockpiling 8 running backs ended up being a good move. I mean, Tyrod Taylor ran for 40 yards. Mark Ingram ran for 85 yards. Philip Lindsay ran for some yardage. David Johnson ran for some yards. They were able to run the ball and throw it.
Yeah. So, but let's put it this way: whoever won that game, it's not Tilton who's the standings at the top by the end of the year. Both these teams should be at the bottom. So we'll see what happens there. Then we got the return of Joe Burrow, who looked healthy. I mean, played a good game. They had a lead, and Vikings came back. They ended up going in overtime. They come away with a win, a big win for them. Big win for Joe Burrow. Coming back from that major surgery. He did hook up with his old friend for a touchdown. What did you think about the Bengals?
Yeah, I mean, they looked really good. I was very impressed with the way that Joe Burrow played. He looked really sharp considering, the injury that he had. People forget that, he tore several ligaments in his knee. So it wasn't just like it was some simple procedure. They had to rebuild that knee, and I was a little bit concerned about him, but he played very well. I think what also helped him was that Joe Mixon was actually there and ran for 130 yards. So,
right.
That was something that was missing last year. And, good for Joe Burrow. He only had to throw the ball 27 times, and that's going to be a recipe for success. You saw last year when he was throwing it 40, 50 times, that was a recipe for disaster. So if they can run the football, and if Joe Burrow can be very efficient with his throws like he was, they can beat anybody. And it wasn't like the Vikings played horrible. I was pretty impressed with the way the Vikings played on offense and defense. So big win for the Bengals. And, for a team that's kind of an afterthought in that division, I think they made a statement with that win.
And then we got the Seahawks and Colts. Very helpful to the Titans that the Seahawks came and did the job against the Colts. We both are very high on Seattle this year, and it looks like they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. But I think both of us thought that was going to happen, so it was as expected. But what impressed you about the game?
The way that the Seahawks were able to throw the ball deep. That was something that, the Colts were pretty good about the past few years, is not letting, guys get behind them. And it seemed like all day long they were getting back behind them. So, great game by Russell. He only had to throw it 23 times. He completed 18 of those, and 4 of those were touchdowns. So a very efficient day for him, and a really good day for Chris Carson as well. He ran the ball 16 times for 91 yards. That's almost 6 yards a carry. So, the Seahawks always look better when they have a healthy running back. And, that's something they didn't have at the end of last year. They were running guys off the practice squad, and, Chris Carson's very important to them. So I hope they, limit his carries because once he's gone, they're in trouble. But, big win for Seattle. As I mentioned last week, that now Pete Carroll is 12-1 his last 13 trips to the East Coast. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of experience making that trip, and he's just a great coach. Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Surprising because Buffalo is supposed to be just this close to Kansas City this year. But we got to give credit where credit is due to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Buffalo got out to a lead, couldn't hold it. They came back and made him pay. Ben, not exactly the greatest Ben, but he did enough to win. What was your overall view of that Buffalo-Pittsburgh game?
Yeah, I mean, pretty impressive, I think, game plan by the Steelers. I mean, I wasn't shocked that they won. I know everybody else was picking the Bills, and I thought it was a pick'em game. I mean, whenever you have Mike Tomlin, I think you've got a chance. He's a master motivator. He's also a very good game planner, and he's also a very good in-game coach at times. So I love Mike Tomlin, and I think that this win was a typical Steeler victory. Close game, low-scoring game, very good defensive game. Minka Fitzpatrick was all over the place, and you could really tell the difference that Devin Bush makes being back. Once he went out last year, that defense dropped off a little bit. So him being back in the fold and leading that defense really made a difference. And, I think it was a wake-up call to the Bills. I think they thought they were just going to come out and roll over them, and it didn't happen.
Here's a game that I don't think it answered any questions. I don't think it made any questions. But I mean, you got the Detroit against the Niners. The Niners got out to a big lead. Detroit came back and made it look better in the end. You got Lance throws his first touchdown pass, and everybody's all gaga about it. Garoppolo, again, led them to another victory, but we'll get no credit for it. I mean, I don't know. Does Shanahan have to make a choice and just say, okay, look, Jimmy, I'll try and get you out of here by the trade deadline, or what? It seems like the court of public opinion wants Lance.
I mean, he threw one ball. So, I don't think I've seen enough yet to say it's time to move on to this kid. As you said, once again, Jimmy Garoppolo played a very efficient game and led them to a victory. He was 17 of 25 for 314 yards and a touchdown, and led them to a win. I would say that I was a little bit more surprised by how well Jared Goff played. I know he threw the interception, but 3 touchdowns, completed 38 passes. I was pretty impressed with him, considering I'm not in love with their wide receivers, as I mentioned in our preview show. But he really threw the ball around to the guys that are his best players. TJ Hawkinson led the team with 8 catches for 97 yards. DeAndre Swift, the running back, had 8 catches for 65. And then their other running back, Jamal Williams, had 8 catches for 56. So, the leading receiver was Khalif Raymond with 3 catches for 50 yards. So it was impressive to me how he took the players that are actually good on this team and got them the football.
And the other thing about Jared Goff that we got to start giving him credit for is, unlike some of the stars in this league, a la that man in Green Bay, when he was dealt a bad hand going from a championship level team to, let's face facts, the regs of the league, Goff has never said anything. Goff's never come out and said a word. I know he's getting paid well. He's making his money, but he didn't go into the tank. He's not acting like a jackass. He's not, he's been there. He's doing his job. He's trying his best. So I think the NFL should maybe give a little pat. Look, he's never going to be Brett Favre or one of these exciting quarterbacks. He's kind of like Jimmy G, a game manager, and hopefully he does enough to win. But the fact of the matter is, he's been a class act right now.
Yeah, no, he could have easily quit and given up at this game. I believe at halftime it was 31-10. Mm-hmm. So they could have easily mailed it in, and he came back and made this game very close. So I agree with you. I think he deserves more credit for the way that he's handled this situation. He could have come out and said some words about his former coach or about the way that he was treated, but he's kind of like Jalen Hurts. You heard nothing but positive things out of him, and it showed in the way he played on Sunday that that's where his focus is.
Yep. Then we got the Chargers, who went to Washington, came away with a victory. That's a nice victory for the Chargers. That's a nice opening victory. Everybody knows it's hard for East Coast guys to go West Coast to go East Coast. To come open up your season totally across country against one of the best defenses. It helped them that Fitzpatrick got hurt, I guess, a little bit. But they didn't explode, but they did enough to win, which really, I think, says a lot about this team.
Yeah, I mean they moved the ball all day on this defense. I mean, I know they only scored 20 points, but Herbert threw for over 330 yards, and they had a lot of first downs, and the Washington football team had difficulty getting the Chargers off the field on third down. They were very efficient, and like I said, they kept racking up first downs and racking up yards, and the Washington also turned the ball over a couple times. So when this defense was having trouble getting them off the field, and then the offense was turning the ball over, that is not a recipe for success, and I think that's the reason that the Chargers came out on top.
Yeah. And now, we'll talk about that later when we talk about this week's game. But then we have the Jets Panthers. In the first half, couldn't have gone any worse for the Jets. Sam Darnold had his way, but that's the whole thing. Is like I hear around here, oh, Sam Darnold. Yeah, well, Sam Darnold playing against the Jet defense. Okay. It's not like he was playing against the Tampa Bay defense. Let's see what he does against Tampa Bay when he plays them twice. Let's see when the ghosts show up there. I mean, the fact of the matter is, he was playing against his old. He looked good in practice against this defense when he played for the Jets. So let's not get him the gold jacket yet.
Well, the Jets defense wasn't very good to begin with, and then as we talked about last week, they've lost about 6 guys that were going to be integral parts of the defense. So it was even more in shambles. I actually give the Jets credit for the way they played in the second half. They only gave up 3 points, so right. I thought that was pretty amazing to me. But I will give Sam a little bit of credit in the sense that he was a lot more careful with the football. So that in that regard, I will give him credit for that. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see how he does this week against the Saints, because that the Saints defense is a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just pass over that one. Sammy, we hardly knew you, and we're glad about it. All right, your Eagles. You've been Mr. Hertz's biggest advertiser, and the Falcons. I mean, early in the game, I think the first drive, the Falcons went right down the field, and I was like, well, maybe. But then there was nothing after that. And meanwhile, the Eagles had their way. I mean, for me as a Giant fan, that was cold water in my shower. You know what I mean? It woke me up that this team. Everybody was thinking the Eagles were going to be. It was going to be. Do not sleep on these Eagles because they look dangerous.
I agree, and I said that in our preview show that everyone thinks that the Eagles everyone was picking them to finish last in the division, and I don't see that at all. I think this roster is a lot more talented than people give it credit for, and I believe in this quarterback. I mean, are all the games going to go like this? Probably not. But wow, what a performance! A 126.4 rating out there on Sunday. I watched the entire game. He looked like a veteran. 27 to 35, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. He only ran it 7 times, but ran it. When he did run it, he was very efficient. Averaged almost 9 yards a carry, and really ran it when he had to, but. It wasn't like he was running the option every time. He just ran it when he needed to, and when the team needed him to run it. But he got everybody involved. I mean, Jalen Reagor finally showed up. He had a touchdown, had 6 catches. Devontae Smith had a tremendous rookie debut, and he used the tight end Dallas Goedert and got him and Zach Ertz involved. So I was very impressed with the Eagles both on offense and on defense, holding the Falcons to 6 points. I think that people need to give them credit for how their defense played as well.
And not to take anything away from their performance, but you look at it and you go, Matty Ryan, Matty Ice, what are you sticking around for, man? It's like, I don't know. I just don't think I think it'll be a long season for the Falcons, and unfortunately for Matty, he's closer to the end than the beginning, and you wonder why he wants to stick around. I guess to cement his place in camp. So felt sorry for him.
Or maybe the $30 million that he's getting to play quarterback. Maybe that has something.
I tell you, after the money he's made in the NFL, if that $30 million means the difference between him and anything is, he hasn't watched his money. But yeah, you're right. Who wants to leave $30 million on the table?
Well, there's only so many years that you're going to be able to make $30 million. And what happens is these guys get in this lifestyle where they've got these bills coming in. Well, they got to have the money coming in to pay these bills. And, you know, I don't know. I wasn't, I've explained several times that I'm not in love with this Falcons roster. And, Arthur Smith, first-time head coach, it could be a lengthy season for this team.
Well, especially if the Saints are going to be what they're going to be, and Tampa Bay is going to be what they're going to be, and Carolina could be. It doesn't look like they're the team that the Falcons can feast on. So we'll see. Next is the Chiefs Browns, and for almost the whole game, you're looking at Baker Mayfield and the guys making a statement. And I look at this two ways. First of all, again, Baker at the end, not that last interception, I don't blame him for. He was trying to throw it out of bounds, and he got tackled. It happened. But the thing of, he's got to learn to finish off these big games at some point. The other thing about it is, like I discussed with you all last year, Kansas City can't just sit around, wait around, and snap their fingers and think, we're going to always be able to come back. We're going to always be able to get right back into it. They were damn lucky, that the Browns didn't play up to expectations, at least defensive-wise, late in the game to be able to stop them. Because the fact of the matter is, that's how they played all last year. And I said all last year they looked like they were going to get picked off at some point. And I just don't like this style of theirs of it's kind of we can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
Yeah, but they can. I mean, that's the scary thing about it. They kind of, come out slow and appear a little lackadaisical. And then, when they want to turn it on, they can. And the thing is that they do have two guys that are pretty much unstoppable. And that's Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, not to mention the guy throwing them the ball is pretty damn good too. So, it's a tough team to beat. And I don't really think of, I don't think that this is a negative for either team. I think this was a good game. I think the Browns played well. I think the Chiefs, obviously won, so I think it's good for them too. I think both these teams are going to be good, and I'm expecting both of them to play well this week.
Well, we talked about the Packers and Saints already. Let's skip to the worst game of the day for me. I mean, it couldn't have gone any worse for the Giants. It looked like their defense hadn't been in training camp. Danny Dimes, I mean, everybody can talk about that fumble. It was a bad fumble. I mean, I don't know why he didn't get down. I mean, why he tried to stretch it between the two defenders. Stupidity there. But for the most part, I don't think he hurt him that much. Saquon Barkley, heavy duty of rust on him. And what I'm more worried about with the Giants is and I think I said this last year, with Joe Judge coming from the Belichick creativity tree, shall I say, with their offensive game planning, it's too vanilla. It's the same thing. There's no jet sweeps. They don't try and Saquon Barkley, instead of having him behind either in the spread or behind in an eye. Why not put him in the slot and have him come around on a sweep? Why not do things like that? Find different ways, inventive ways to get him in space until he gets comfortable. Why are you running him on a bad knee, or not a bad knee, but a reconstructed knee into the middle of an offensive line where everybody's falling around that? And I wouldn't feel comfortable running into that. Would you?
No, and why not throw him the ball? I mean, run some slip screens. Spread him out wide and have him run a little bubble screen. I mean, get him the ball out in space, especially if they're having trouble running the football like they were on Sunday. I mean, they basically ran for, around 3 yards a carry. And, that's being generous, especially with Saquon, 10 carries for 26 yards. So, yeah, and Daniel Jones, I'm not going to write him off yet, but I've got to be honest. I've seen 28 games and I've seen 30 fumbles. So at some point, you've got to just – it is what it is. I mean, the guy he can't seem to take care of the football. And, at this point, it's more of a trend than it is an anomaly.
Well, I don't know if it's a trend, but it's a damn problem. And the only
28 games and 30 fumbles.
That's
got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, like I said, it's like, when I'm looking at it, I'm watching them do it. I'm like, get down, get down, get down. You see the defense collapsing around him. It's like any other quarterback in the NFL with any brains outside of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson would be the only one I would put in that situation and say, okay, take your chances. Every other quarterback, get down, slide, protect yourself, protect the ball, live to fight another day. And that is what gets me. Is not. I understand he's trying to make plays, but he's only making himself look foolish, and he's got to learn his lesson fast. Like I said, he's got a big night tonight, and let's see what he learned from watching the tape of himself this week. So the Giants did not look good at all, and but the Denver Broncos, my pick for number 2 in the West, Teddy Bridgewater. He'll probably never play in a Super Bowl. He'll probably always need a ticket to get there. But he's a competent pro quarterback who could be a nice backup, a nice bridge quarterback to your next franchise quarterback. And I root for him because he's just such a class individual. And the Broncos played a good game.
I love Teddy Bridgewater. I've always liked him, but Teddy's problem has not been playing football. Teddy's problem has been staying on the football field. This is one game, and let's see if he makes it 17 games. And that's why I picked the Raiders, because their quarterback's been available, and he's been able to stay on the football field. And that's where Teddy's been having his problems is, he gets hit, he gets hurt, and he's not available to play. And that's why the Panthers chose to move off of him, was that they were worried about his availability. So game 1 looked great. If he can stay healthy and keep that up, they'll be in good shape. But already Jerry Jeudy is already hurt, and the Broncos were a different team with Jerry Jeudy out there and him being effective. So him being hurt, I think, hurts that offense.
Definitely. You have to pay attention to him.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Patriots. Dolphins came away with a 1-point win. Mac Jones did not look bad. It wasn't his fault. The Patriots played it kind of close to the vest. I don't know if this is a moral victory for the Patriots because their new look quarterback got his feet wet and didn't blow up. I don't know. I don't know what to take out of either game. It's a good win for Miami. It was a good game for the Patriots, but it's still a loss, and it's a division loss against a team that you wanted to get a split with at least. So I mean, you can look at this game. You can look at 40 different angles and come up with 40 different answers. But the bottom line is, I think both these teams are going to be in it most of the year and have something to say about the wild card situation by the end. What did you think of that game?
No, I think you described it pretty well there. I think that, going 29 of 39 for 281 yards is a pretty good start for Mac Jones. He didn't turn the ball over. That's pretty impressive in itself. And he didn't look like a rookie to me. So I think that's good. But also at the same time, Tua looked better to me. I think he did enough to get they didn't have to take him out at the end to win. Is basically what I'm saying. And having Jalen Waddle is a big help. Obviously, that guy is legit. Devontae Smith was the guy that won the Heisman, but Jalen Waddle was the number one receiver on that team before he got hurt. So people forget that. But the New England did what they wanted to do. They ran the ball with Damian Harris, 23 carries, 100 yards. They're going to be a running football team, and they're going to set up the pass with the run. And this was two good teams in a great game. And I think there's no moral victories in New England, but I think they look more like the Patriots to me.
Yeah, for sure. And they did all of last year. And then to finish off, let's see, in the Sunday game, we have the Bears, Rams, and the Rams take care of business. The Bears are the Bears.
Yeah, it's Andy Dalton. I mean, what do you want? They're not going to win too many games with Andy Dalton out there. I'm sorry. It's time to go ahead and move off. I guess he's going to keep playing him, but I'm not sure why. I mean, they had 14 points. They scored 2 touchdowns, and one of them was Justin Fields running the damn ball in.
Yeah.
So why not leave him out there and let him throw some touchdowns too, instead of just dreaming that Andy Dalton's gonna do something. I mean, it's a joke. I'm not real sure what the coaching staff is thinking, but they're kind of doing this thing where they're bringing in Justin Fields in the red zone. It's like, if you trust this guy more in the red zone, why don't you have him out there the whole time?
Well, I know we sound a little crazy because we talked about keeping Minshew around to help Trevor Lawrence, but Urban Meyer's in his first year as a coach there. This is his honeymoon time. He can lose a little bit. The coach in Chicago doesn't have that. This is his make or break team. He's got to win, and he's got to look and say, which quarterback gives me the best chance of winning. Andy Dalton, maybe a decade ago, would have been that quarterback, but he's not that quarterback anymore if he wasn't even a decade ago. And, I'm sorry. If he wants to give you the job, he should make the commitment to Justin Fields and say, here we go.
Yeah, why not play him now? If you're going to end up playing him anyway, why doesn't Matt Nagy play him now? And then if you lose this game on Sunday, you're like, well, we lost, but we got our rookie quarterback, some serious playing time and got him comfortable.
A la Belichick.
Bingo.
That's why Bill Belichick is a Hall of Fame coach, because he's not afraid to make the controversial decision when he thinks it's right for his team.
Well, yeah, and Bill Belichick had a former MVP and a quarterback that took his team to the Super Bowl, and he moved off of him. And this guy's got the broken red water pistol, and won't take him out. So yeah, there's where the two differ.
Exactly. And then we had Monday night, where another great game. I mean, when you think about it, the Thursday night game and the Monday night game, you couldn't ask for a better bookend for the weekend. I mean, to start out with a game-winning field goal with no time left on the clock, and then you have an overtime game to win, and an exciting game. Both games scored a lot. Both games showed you a little bit of everything. I got to give you credit on Oakland. I mean, I was down on Oakland. Not that I'm down on Carr. I'm down on Gruden. I've always liked Carr, but I don't, trust Gruden at this stage in his coaching career. But he had his team ready, and they went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams, even though they don't have their running attack that they should have. But, I mean, you saw everything you wanted to see in that game.
Yeah, it was a great game, honestly. And you do have to give Chucky some credit for the way that he, ran his play calling. He was setting up plays with other plays, and he was trying to get the ball to Darren Waller, which is a great move. And he made the Ravens defense look pretty bad, to be honest. I mean, they threw for 435 yards, and they couldn't get any pressure on Carr. I think he was sacked 3 times, but when you throw the ball 56 times, getting sacked 3 times isn't that bad. And they had a hard time getting the Raiders off the field, and Baltimore's got to be better. They're a team that's supposed to be kind of founded on their defense, and I just didn't feel like that defense was helping Lamar out a whole lot, especially considering, they're working on running back number 4 as their starter. So, once again, the hate for Lamar Jackson around this country just blows me away. The guy's out there, runs for almost 100 yards, throws for 235. He did fumble it twice, but good God, he was doing everything he could to try and win the game for his team when he had little to no help.
I mean, is he my favorite player? No, but I'm impressed on everything he does. I mean, he doesn't. There's nothing he can't do.
No,
he can throw from the pocket. He can run fast. He's probably the best broken field runner they have in the NFL right now.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, there's nobody else you want out there in space. I mean, he makes people look stupid. He breaks ankles all over the field. So I mean, it's crazy.
And they were, the Ravens were, down, and he came back and scored 10 points in the fourth quarter and had the Ravens in a position to win there. Obviously they didn't, but I'm just saying he played pretty masterful considering all the losses they had. And people, everyone knows that they're missing 3 running backs, but no one's really giving them a whole lot of credit for that. This is a team that's the number 1 rushing team in the NFL, and all 3 of their running backs are gone. Not to mention their number 1 pick in the draft, Rashad Bateman, is on IR, so he wasn't out there either. So I think, I know they lost, but I think there's a lot of good to take away from this Ravens team. Now, their offensive line worried me. Villanueva got abused all day long by Max Crosby. It was looked unfair at times. Maybe that's transitioning from left tackle to right tackle. Maybe that's Villanueva's age. I don't really know, but it didn't look good.
Not that it matters really, because they were in line to kick the field goal, but were you a little shocked they sold out for that winning touchdown, that Baltimore had everybody up on the line of scrimmage and just left it wide open? I mean, I saw that before the play. I said, my God, there's nobody back there.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point it was pretty much over anyway. To be honest, I mean, they were gonna kick the field goal there on second down. It looked like until the penalty. So, I think the game was pretty much over at that point. It's hard to say because the game looked like it was over about 3 times, but I don't really have a problem with them going after him at that point. I mean, they were having trouble getting to him, and they brought the house, and I'm never going to give a coach a hard time for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's turn the corner. Week 2, here we go. Giants tonight against the Redskins. It would seem to be an ideal situation for the Giants going in there. Redskins second string quarterback, which, believe me, as a Giant fan, I know this doesn't usually work out for them when they get to the second string. Even in their best days with LT and Carl Banks and Harry Carson and those guys, if they got to a second string quarterback, they seem to make them look better than the first string quarterback. So it worries me the hell out of me. But basically what I want to see tonight out of them, and has to be done, is Jason Garrett's got to, open up the playbook. He's got to show me something different, something that's going to surprise this defense. Because otherwise, I think what Washington's going to do is play it close to the vest and try and win a 13-9, 14-13, 17-14 game, and have a lead or a tie game and put it in their defense's hands in the fourth quarter. And if the Giants show us the offense they've shown us so far, they're not going to be able to tip the scales.
No, I think that's exactly going to be the Washington's game plan. I mean, they're going to try and keep it be a low-scoring affair. They're going to try and win this game by winning the turnover battle. They're going to hope that, Mr. Jones's 30 fumbles in 28 games continues. And that's really the best hope that Washington has. And I'd hate to say that this is a must-win game, because really there's no way that game 2 is a must-win game for anybody. But if you look at the Giants here, if they go down to Washington and goes down 0-2 in playing the Broncos and playing Washington, in back-to-back weeks and lose to a in-division opponent, it's not going to be a good start to the season. So I really look at this game as a game that the Giants really need to get.
Yeah, Joe Judge has to start showing that he can put this team together and win some September games and get them on the right track. I mean, I like Joe Judge. I really do. I want him to stick around here for a long period of time. But the only way to do that is to win some games. And we're going to see what they do tonight. Broncos get the Jaguars. I mean, the Broncos coming east again to play the Jaguars. I mean, can't do them any more favors than that. I mean, that should be a Bronco win, I would think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. The way they played in week one, I mean, obviously losing Jerry Jeudy's, not good, but if Teddy can play like he played against the Giants, I think that should be a game they should be able to handle.
Another 1:00 game on Sunday. Buffalo travels to Miami. This game is very intriguing to me. I mean, the Dolphins, we both love the coach in Miami. Both love the coach in Buffalo, too. If they have hangover from that disappointing loss to Pittsburgh, going down to the Dolphins, this could be a statement game for the Dolphins to say, hey, we're really here in this division and get them off to a quick start. 2-0 in your division, 2-0 in the league. Big game for the Dolphins if they can establish this, especially against a team that most of us were writing as their ticket to the Super Bowl already.
Yeah, I think you picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes, actually. I
did. And an 0-2 start would not be good for the Bills. But yeah, I think this is the game right here where the Dolphins can, take that step forward. They won 10 games last year. Are they going to be a team that goes, up a notch, takes it up a peg, and wins 12? And goes deep in the playoffs, or are they a team that, regresses? And I think this is a game that is a very good measuring stick or a very good barometer to see who these Dolphins are. As I mentioned, I was very impressed with the win in week one. And can they do it in back-to-back weeks against, two good teams? That's what we need to find out.
All right, the next two games are going to go quick. There's no reason to spend a lot of time on them. The Browns at home against the Texans. The Texans, they beat up on Jacksonville. Okay, this is the Browns. The Browns went toe-to-toe with Kansas City. Could have won. If the Browns don't take care of business, I'd be very shocked. And also, it would be something that would really set that town on fire. So I would think the Browns will take care of business against the Texans. Tyrod Taylor was on the Browns for a while. You know what I mean? There's no reason to think that the Browns won't take care of business against the Texans. The Bengals-Bears, very interesting here because can the Bengals get off to a 2-0 start? This looks like there's a door wide open, even though they're on the road, especially with Andy Dalton starting. If Joe Burrow plays well, I could see the Bengals being 2-0.
Yeah, I could see, you always have to let these things play out, but I could easily see the Bengals starting 2-0, the Bears going 0-2, and Justin Fields entering in on game 3. So that's my prediction. Honestly, the way that the Bengals played in week one, and what I saw from the Bears, I really think that that could be that way. But at the same time, the Bears defense is a little bit better, supposedly, than what the Bengals saw last week. But I'm not as down on the Vikings as some other people. So I thought that was a really good win, and we'll see if the Bengals can keep it going. But I could easily see with Andy Dalton behind center, I could see Joe Burrow getting win number 2.
And then we got another interesting game. You got Jalen Hurts going in, or entertaining San Francisco. Okay. San Francisco, here's another one. I mean, there's going to be some people clamoring for Trey Lance to get in, especially if Jalen Hurts and the Eagles get an early lead. This is one of those early tests of how much Shanahan has faith in Garoppolo. How fast will he pull the hook, especially if the Eagles get out to a quick lead? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean that's the question is, is he gonna stick with them? I don't know. Just the way that things have gone thus far, it leads me to believe that he's not necessarily sold on him. I am. I think he gives them the best chance to win right now. This is a guy that took him to the Super Bowl when he was healthy. He's got a tremendous record as a starting quarterback. So, I would ride with him and see what happens, and reassess the situation in week 6.
More taste and only one more calorie.
This is not a guy that it's just, to me, it's not a situation where you need to take this guy out right away. I think this is a really good situation for a rookie quarterback to be in and to learn under Jimmy Garoppolo. But we'll see. Patience is not a virtue in the NFL any longer.
No, I just lost my computer, so you got to pick up where the schedule are. Where are we behind after that?
Yeah, next we can go and look at the Raiders and the Steelers, which I think is going to be a very, very good game. Both teams coming off big, impressive victories in Week 1. I think this is going to be one of the games of the week. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it can be. Is it going to be? I can't see the schedule right now. So is it in Pittsburgh or is it in
Pittsburgh at Heinz Field?
All right, that's a big. That goes a long way to help Pittsburgh out. I think what I'm really looking for in this game is how much Ben Roethlisberger has left. I think Carr and I'm going by your assessment in a lot of cases here about the Raiders. I think Carr and the Raiders are going to put some pressure on that Pittsburgh defense, and he's going to have to score more than 23 points to keep up with the Raiders. So I think this is going to be a referendum on really what Ben Roethlisberger has left in the tank.
No, I agree, but it's not like the Steelers don't have the ability to score. I mean, they've got some pretty good wide receivers. Deontay Johnson has really impressed me thus far. 2 touchdowns in Week 1. They brought back Juju Smith-Schuster. James Washington still on the roster. They've got pretty good stable of tight ends, and now they need to somehow get a running game going and get Najee Harris involved to help keep the Raiders off the field. I think that's going to be the difference in this game, is if the Steelers can run the ball at all.
All right, who we got next?
Next, we got the Saints versus the Panthers. Another division game here, and we're going to get to see whether it is, whether we got Sam Darnold 2.0 or whether we still got Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I tend to think it's going to be the Saints taking care of business here. There's just nothing. I mean, as good as Sam Darnold played last week, for him, it was still only a first half that he was really dominant in. Second half, he was so-so. So, I mean, can the guy put 60 minutes together? Can he put 4 quarters together? I don't know. But I don't think he's going to do it against the Saints. I'm still not going to jump on the Jameis Winston bandwagon, but he's hot right now. And, until I'm proven right, it looks like he right now could be in the front runner for comeback player of the year. Who knows?
Hey, it was one game, so
yeah.
He played very, very well, and did what he's supposed to. But can he continue to do that? We'll see. He just needs to listen to his coach and follow the game plan. And people forget he's been there for 2 years now, so it's not like he's just learning what to do. He's been, Coach Payton's been in his ear for a while, so I think that bodes well for them. And I'm picking the Saints in this one on the road in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. I'm going with the Saints.
Not for nothing, not trying to agree with you, but I mean, Sean Payton was the offensive coordinator for the Giants when they resurrected Kerry Collins' career in New York. So I mean, it's not like he hasn't taken a damaged quarterback and put him on the right road before. I mean, Drew Brees didn't need that much help. I mean, Drew Brees was Drew Brees. But we have seen him take, like I said, a quarterback. Kerry Collins was at a low point. He was pretty much almost out of the NFL when Fossil and Sean Payton to the point took over his career and got him heading in the right direction. And that's kind of what Jameis Winston needs.
Hey, you got to remember now the Chargers were moving on from Drew Brees, and the Dolphins took a pass on Drew Brees, and he failed his physical in Miami. So, Drew Brees had some things to prove too. So, it's not like he was the MVP when he got there. Sean Payton meant just as much to Drew Brees as Drew Brees did to Sean Payton.
I don't want to take that away from him, but I mean, Drew Brees was more of a clean slate. I mean, Kerry Collins had controversy on and off the field. Jameis Winston had off only in Florida State, but his controversy had been on the field and whether he could be a serious quarterback. So that's kind of why I put those two as a better comparison. I mean, Drew Brees was, a consummate citizen. It was about his health. It was about believing that a short guy could be an NFL quarterback. And, but he had a clean slate pretty much when New Orleans took him. There wasn't a lot of baggage that came with him. So that's why I was comparing those two. Go ahead. Who's next?
Next game would be in State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The Cardinals are welcoming the 0-1 Minnesota Vikings to town.
Well, you're more a Viking believer than I am. But they did come back in that game. They made a game of it. I'm not a big Zimmer guy, but his team played tough, got into overtime, and, they lost by a field goal to the Bengals. So the big question is Arizona as good as they looked last week? Then the Vikings will have problems. If that was just a flash in the pan, then the Vikings have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. The Cardinals defense on Sunday looked like the Cardinals defense at the beginning of last year. So, that's what that's what concerns me about the Vikings here is, the Cardinals defense was just, a tremendous game plan and excellent execution. And if they can continue to do that, Kyler Murray's going to do enough to win. So, I think this all bodes well for Arizona, especially considering they're at home.
All right. Who do we got next?
Yes, the Falcons and the Buccaneers in Tampa.
Pass.
Yeah, let's move on. So let's go on to the Cowboys and Chargers. This one is in California after big win by the Chargers and the good game by the Cowboys. I think this will be a good test for each of them.
I think it will be, but and the big thing I think is going to be is Mike McCarthy going to run the ball a little bit more. I don't think he wants to get in a shootout with Herbert right now. That kind of evens the playing field for the Chargers. You don't want to get into a gunslinger. You want to be able to control that clock a little bit. Chargers were a very good win against Washington. This would cement them as going to be in it the whole year. For Dallas, yeah, they have to prove that they can win a game like this on the road.
Yeah, I mean that's been the Chargers' MO throughout the last several years. Is they'll have one really good game and then they'll come back and lay an egg. So, is this the old school Chargers or is this a new era? And I think that's what this game is going to tell us.
All right, what do we got next?
Then we got the 0-1 Titans traveling to Seattle to take on Russ in the Seahawks.
You couldn't have a worse. Considering their opening weekend loss, you couldn't have a worse situation.
Yeah, I mean they got roasted at home against the Cardinals, and now they have to go on the road to CenturyLink and play against the 12th man in Seattle. Not a real good setup for the Titans, in my opinion.
No, not at all. That's gonna be a tough. I can see the Titans going 0-2.
Yeah, I can too. And then the next game, the 8:00 game, is the Chiefs-Ravens in Baltimore.
Now, this is going to be an interesting game, but I mean, Jackson's going to have to take charge and be spectacular. This is one of those games that will test my theory. If Kansas City comes out and plays, in a fog the first half, and the Ravens are able to get a lead, can the Ravens hold the lead? That will test my theory there. Another big I'll tell you, the NFL is not wasting time testing out some big matchups. I mean, you start out with the Cowboys, Buccaneers. You got the Chiefs and the Browns. Then you got Pittsburgh and the Bills. A lot of big name teams facing off against each other in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really good game. All eyes are going to be on this game, and I would take Lamar, except it's not just. It's just Lamar. I mean, I just don't think he's got enough help. That defense worries me. Like I mentioned a minute ago, that offensive line looked like garbage. Lamar had no time to throw it when he did throw it, and most of the yards he got were when he was running for his life on passing plays. So, that concerns me. And, that not only have they lost their top 3 running backs, but they lost L.J. Fort, their starting middle linebacker, and they lost Marcus Peters, who's their best cover corner.
So it's going to be a tough one. I'd have to say Kansas City has the upper hand there. Yeah. Unless Lamar can just be Superman. Yeah. And who do we got on Monday night?
Monday night is the Lions and the Packers. So,
Are they throwing the Packers a bone with this one or what?
Well, the question is, what happens here with Aaron Rodgers? I think it's kind of a cool storyline, because it was interesting to me that after the game, when they interviewed the coach, he said that it was an embarrassing loss. And then, when they talked to Aaron Rodgers, he's like, I don't know if I'd say embarrassing. He's like, I'd say that it was, a tough loss. And I'd say that we played bad. And I played bad. And he admitted that he didn't play good, but I don't think he was ready to say he was embarrassed. So, there still seems to be some friction going on in that locker room. And that doesn't bode well for winning games in the NFL.
The funny thing is, way back when Howard Cosell used to do like the Monday Night Football games, the Lions would never be on the game, because he'd be like, you got to start winning games to be on Monday Night Football. We're the showcase game. And it's funny how, that changed. And I guess they're throwing the people of Detroit a bone as much as it'll be, because I think right now, if the Packers are in their right minds, they're going to come up and try and make a statement and look embarrassed. It couldn't be. It's a bad situation to me for the Lions to be on Monday Night Football, because I could see Aaron Rodgers putting up 5 touchdown passes and just trying to run them right out the field.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions defense wasn't real good to begin with, and now the number 3 pick in the draft from last year, Jeff Okudah, who looked like he was finally figuring out. I think he ruptured his Achilles. He's done for the year. So that was their one guy that might be able to cover Devontae Adams, and without him, Aaron should be able to get right.
He'll shred him. All right, so we got a couple of minutes left. Let's do the picks of the week, the no doubt picks of the week. Who do we got?
As I mentioned, I'm going with the New Orleans Saints over the Panthers. I know it's in Charlotte, but I still think Sammy sucks. So I'm going with the Saints D to win that one for me. And then I'm stepping out on a limb here, and I'm going with the Bills. And I'm thinking Josh Allen's going to bounce back in this one. And I think they're going to take care of business against the Dolphins. Now, I could be wrong in that one. It's kind of a pick 'em game. But I like to pick, a game that's could go either way, and I'm going with the Bills.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get myself a bottle of water and sit down on my couch and watch these Giants, see if they can give me something to have faith in this year. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll be back, of course. Man coverage will be on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. To give you the breakdown of the NCAA football. I'm working on a project with the Ivy League. Might have an announcement tomorrow. I'll let you know. If not, it'll probably be for next week. Looking forward to covering the Ivy League football. And we will be back on Monday to go over everything we've seen this weekend in the NFL. Everybody have a great weekend.
All right, guys. Adios.
Adios.